David Taylor is an expert when it comes to oil and gas, and it all, I believe, really ties in. David, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well. How are you?
Tell me, do you, I mean, because I talked to somebody yesterday who really believes that this is all being kind of manufactured, and a lot of this has to do with these sinking oil prices. Do you think that the stock market, what's going on in China, what's going on with the world economy right now, has anything to do with oil and gas?
Well, I think oil and gas is one of the major components of the economy.
Yeah.
And so when the oil prices are going so low, I mean, it's going to affect everything. It affects jobs. It affects, GDP. It affects everything. So, yeah, I believe it's definitely in line with that.
Yeah. And we're looking at today, they say, the stock market. Everything is the green arrows pointing upward. Everything's looking positive today. You do kind of wonder, but those gas prices still seem to be plummeting while we're looking at the potential of maybe $2 a gallon, even in New York, which I don't know, David, if you realize is pretty much impossible with the taxes we pay.
Right.
But it's all possible. While that is a good thing for the consumer, I'm not sure it's great for your industry, especially in the United States.
Well, I always have a positive spin on something, or I try to, just because there's always a way to look up.
Yeah.
But when you're at the pumps and you're paying less, that's fantastic. I mean, everyone wants a reprieve, but at the same time, when you're looking at $39 a barrel, I mean, that affects everything. And so in Texas, especially where we are, we have an investment company called Crudefunders, and so this is what I tell my clients is the best time to invest in oil. I mean, it's very similar to real estate where, when people buy, when it's a frantic craze, that's when you're getting the worst deals. And right now, there's an opportunity for some incredible production, really good drillers and operators that are out there who know their business and have been through the booms and the busts. And so what I look at is every time you put money into the oil economy at a low, when you go to the pumps and you're paying when it gets a little bit higher, you kind of smile versus grimace.
Yeah.
So I look at it at, a little bit of a positive.
And what are your, the word fracking is a big word up here. And it can, we're close to Pennsylvania where there are a lot of stories about the water supply, and it's a really unique issue. You'd think that it's, around the country, I think it's a Republican, Democrat issue. Republicans are for fracking, Democrats are not. But in this area, in upstate New York, where we're not New York City, it's upstate New York, it is really a unique, you could find somebody with a Republican sign on their lawn, but a no fracking sign.
Right.
How much does that play a role, and how much is that making us, because there are, 16, 17 states, 20 states that are fracking right now?
Right, that's about right.
Yeah. How much is that playing a part of it, making us energy independent right now?
Well, okay, so I'll explain some of the concerns about fracking, and this is what people typically don't know, is fracking is not necessarily something that's going to cause a huge amount of environmental impact. What it does is it fractures some of the plates underneath, and it allows for that oil to come out through the pores, and so what people think are these earthquakes and all the issues that come with that, and a lot of that is actually in the water supply that you're talking about. So they put them in saltwater disposal wells, and those are the things that have all the chemicals, the surfactants, and it creates a shift. And so what we're trying to do is invest into new technologies that allow water to be reclaimed and not go down whole with all the chemicals, and to reuse that same water. And I think when you have a bunch of states who are doing the same thing over and over again with the fracking, it's incredible what kind of production that fracking has allowed us to do. I mean, it's found oil that we thought was previously undiscoverable.
Yeah. All right. How low is this going to go? I mean, figuring we're at what are we paying here? Like $2.60,
65, yeah,
a gallon right now. What do you see?
Yeah, and sorry to be so vague, but I always say is if you ask 100 people, you're going to get 100 different answers.
Yeah.
So what we're hoping right now is that you're seeing a basement, you're seeing something that's going to stabilize, because there's only so far you can go down before people quit pumping. And they quit finding new supplies, and they keep the oil in the hole. And so I would say that right now we're comfortable. We're not getting rich. We're at a point where it's feasible, and there's going to be a point where it's too uncomfortable to drill. So
yeah.
I think you're getting close.
Getting close to that. And a lot of this, the thought is that OPEC is trying to really destroy the American market by lowering this and lowering this, they don't have to worry about the wages that we have to worry about.
Well, and also they have to just drill straight down little holes.
Right.
And they're pumping at costs at like $4 and $5 a barrel to get the oil out of the ground. I mean, you can't compete with that.
Yeah. And David, it was just a year and a half ago, 2 years, all the rage was the electric car and the hybrid vehicles. Isn't it funny, with prices down near $2 a gallon, nobody's talking about that anymore.
Well, I'm a proponent of, I mean, it sounds very oxymoronic, but I'm a proponent of electric cars. I think you need to have a balance and you need to have other sources of energy. And so I hope that companies are still developing and creating those opportunities, but you're never going to see oil go away. I mean, there's too many needs for it, from plastic to lubricants. So I think there's plenty of room to go around, in my opinion.
All right. Good stuff, David Taylor. Thanks for taking the time this morning.
Thank you.